Good morning. I am having Cynthia hair today. So please ignore me. How are y'all this morning? I've been reading all your comments. Um, it's freezing here in Alabama. Yesterday it was 70 degrees. This morning it's like in the 20s and the wind's blowing really bad and it's freezing. I'm a little here because yesterday I groomed I was fine yesterday, and then I groomed the rabbits, and all that wool got here, and I have been struggling ever since. All right, I'm taking my glasses off. If you're just joining me, and you don't know what all this means, Cynthia hair means I don't know, many years ago this lady made fun of my hair, and she said that I had no business filming with my hair looking the way it looked. And she didn't make just one comment. She was making comments constantly about my hair. She said it was greasy, and it was in the middle of the summer and my hair was soaking wet from sweat, and she proceeded to tell me my hair was greasy. And so I decided just to name my hair after her. So when I have a bad hair day, I say I have Cynthia hair. So I don't think it's not the same Cynthia hair. It was, I don't know who she was. I can't even remember, but I named my hair after her. This is my Parisian stick. It's my curling iron. In the mornings, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I am a mental health advocate. And I talk about how I got to where I am today, and I tell real life stories about mental health and the things that I go through, and how I have to break things down in order to be the best version of myself. I am not perfect. I still struggle. As a matter of fact, I struggle every day with mental health. And so, and I don't pretend. This page is very real and honest, and I share with y'all real stories, in hopes to let you know that you're not alone, because mental health is real. It's getting better. People talk about it more, but it's not talked about. And so I have been in therapy. This coming year will be 16 years that I've been with the same therapist. And I have worked really hard on things that I need. Shane is blowing up my phone. Oh, God. My husband doesn't know my schedule. So he doesn't know I'm live. But anyway, those are just some little tidbits. Um, Sometimes when I'm talking about mental health, I get emotional. And so I do Scouts Honor. And the reason I do Scouts Honor is I try to do that Scouts Honor that I won't cry, because I'm putting on my makeup in the mornings and then I'll start crying, and then my makeup's all over my face. So I have found that if I do Scouts Honor, it kind of helps me stop crying because I start laughing. Anyway, all right, on to the story. I feel like I'm talking out of my nose. Um, my grandbaby was born on the 27th. She is absolutely the cutest thing I've ever seen. We have decided as a family not to post pictures on my social media. I hope that doesn't disappoint you, but it's out of the safety of my grandkids. Eli, I've put some on my social media, but as my page grows, I'm going to tell you something. I have some of the best backup dancers or followers or subscribers. I have some of the best. But y'all, the bad ones are bad. Okay? Like y'all don't sometimes y'all don't see the behind the scenes. All right, because I don't always talk about it, because I don't want to call people out, but there's a lot of Judy haters that want to call the police on me, that want to call the Better Business Bureau, the IRS, animal control. They don't like me. And I don't really know why, because I don't know what I've done, but it's just part of being on social media. And we just decided as a family that it's best just we don't really talk a lot about our grandkids. If you've been following me for a while, you've noticed that I don't really talk about them just because there's mean people in the world. So, with that being said, the delivery was fine. She's beautiful, she's healthy. Everything is just absolutely wonderful. And this is a first for my kids. I am a grandmother with Shane's kids, but this is a first for my own. And it's weird to see my child with a child. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. All right. With that being said, this holiday season was one of the hardest for me mentally. And I almost feel embarrassed to tell y'all because I talk about taking care of yourself during the holidays and how I have to take care of myself. And, I go buy myself a present and just for my own mental health. Shane, if you don't leave my phone alone, I'm going to scream. I'm going to have to turn it on silent. I talk about you need to take care of yourself, do something, give back, and all these things. But y'all, I was doing all of that and it didn't work. I was so far in left field, and I was almost scared to say it out loud because when it comes to mental health, Shane is not in tune with mental health. In other words, if you have someone that lives with you or someone around you and their remedy was you just need to quit worrying about it, or you need to stay at 1225, which means it's stay on your address and quit worrying about other people. When people say that, they're doing it because they love you and they're trying to help you. You can't say that. And I want you, if you want to take away, I want you to take this away with you. If you're a person who says, you just need to quit worrying about it, you just need to stay in your own lane, you just need to just stop. Don't say that. Don't say that. It doesn't work. You're wasting your breath. To me, the things that help is for someone to listen, like listen and not talk. Like when I'm talking to Shane and I'm depressed, I want him to just listen. I don't want him to tell me, don't worry about it. Just stop. Just, dude, if I could just stop, I wouldn't have been in 16 years of counseling. I don't know how. My brain doesn't know how to stop. Don't you understand? But he doesn't, because his brain, he can just shut off his brain. And he can push everybody out of his life and get in his shop, and he is good. My brain is not programmed like his brain. My brain doesn't know how to stop. My brain doesn't know how to go, just Judy, just stop being depressed. It doesn't know how to do that. So I would say how you could help someone with mental health issues like depression is listen. I will tell you what helps me. 2 things. When someone shares a story with me that's similar to what I'm struggling with, that helps me because it makes me feel like I'm not alone. That helps me. Um, also, what helps me is when someone, and most people don't know this, but when someone provides me a tool. Now, what I mean by that is if you follow me on social media and you join my morning lives, I talk about putting tools in your pocket. Because when you go through life, you have to pull tools out of your pocket to deal with life. And sometimes when you're in the middle of a depressive state, would he just go hunting and leave me? Oh, this is my brother sending me scripture. When you go through life and you go through challenges, you have to pull out tools out of your pocket to help you cope. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, I teach you how to put tools in your pocket. So sometimes when people go, like, if I'm like, I'm depressed, and the person says, what's wrong? Which Shane does that. Shane goes, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm just depressed. Like, I am so depressed. I've not been this depressed in a long time. And well, what's bothering you? And then I tell them what's bothering me. And it's like, Judy, you have just got to quit worrying about this. Stay in your own lane. Oh my gosh. Just stop. Then that sends me to outer space. Because I realize that I'm talking to the wall. So I'm talking to someone that doesn't understand my brain. And you would think, like, being with me my whole life, like my family, or they would understand, but they don't. I just, it, like, telling me not to worry about it sends me to outer space, and I go into shutdown, and I'm like, I feel alone. But when someone says, well, Judy, have you tried putting an ice pack on your face? That'll make me laugh. Or maybe go out there and talk to Jack, your goose, your gander, whatever. What helps me, Judy, is to go out there and play with my chickens. It helps me. So maybe you could go to the store and get some spinach and go out there and sit with your chickens, because those things do help me. But when I'm in the middle of depression, sometimes I can't get my hand out of my, I don't know, spaghetti noodle brain to reach in my pocket to grab out a tool because I don't feel like it. I don't feel like going to feed the chickens, or I just don't feel like it. And it's hard to explain. So today I want to talk about what I sort of realized as I was in this massive depressive state. And that is, I realized that I really struggle with expectations. And what I mean by that is, y'all are going to laugh about this. Okay, like my expectation of what I want Christmas to look like. I want my children to die to come to my house because my house is fun at Christmas. And it's not. It's not fun. I want everybody, because I remember when I was young, I couldn't wait to go to my mom's house My grandmother cooked. My mom was like Santa Claus. She had everything decorated. I couldn't wait to open my stocking when I mean, even as an adult, I got a stocking and it was so much fun because it was filled with girly stuff. And I remember I couldn't wait to see my aunt and my cousins. It was just fun. And I've never experienced being a mother with children or cousins or my brother or anybody like can't wait to go to Judy's house. And my expectations are I've tried to do it in the past. I've tried to like I remember a couple of years ago I went out of my way to make sure every one of Shane's kids, my kids, had special gifts. We had the 12-foot Christmas tree up. Everybody was there, like all at the same time. It was like probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. All the kids were in the same room. We were all opening presents. Everyone was excited about their gifts because it was surprises. I bought stuff that they didn't ask for, and they were super excited. And that was like heaven to me. You know how if you're a mom, you get me. Like you if you want to know how to make your mother's Christmas, you don't have to give her a gift. Have all her kids and her grandkids show up at her house and bake cookies and spend the night. Oh, listen, you will make your mother's day if you spend the night with her and everybody has on matching pajamas and baking cookies. That's all you don't have to buy her a gift. You will make her Christmas if you just do that. And if you're a mom, tell me I'm not wrong. If all your kids at one time showed up to spend the night and make cookies and have on Christmas carols and make hot chocolate, it would make your day. But I had this expectation that Christmas will be like that. And the reason it stopped being like that was because the next year, one of the kids was not speaking to us. One of our kids went a year without speaking to us. And I was just like, this is not fun. This sucks. I mean, and so we didn't. And then one of our other kids was going to a concert. And then, like, when I picked a day for us to all get together, it's like, I can't do that. That's my mom's Christmas party that day. And I said, Shane, it is for Shane and I'm just being real, but this is the deal. When you're in a divorced family and the mom has boys and the dad has girls, okay? Or no, let me say, the mom, which is me, has boys, okay? Shane is in a divorce situation and his kids did not live with him. What happens to Shane and I? We're not first. We're nowhere in the equation. Because when you have boys, it's usually the girl decides what they're doing because mama does this or whatever. And then when Shane didn't raise his kids, he is not a priority. Like we would never get, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, Mom, because Dad's Christmas party is every day, every Christmas on this day. We don't get that. We're like third in line. So like when we say, hey, because like Christmas this year, I sent all my kids a message and I said, hey, I don't know what y'all want to do for Christmas. I said, Vanson graduates the second weekend. The third weekend, the babies do. So the only weekend we could really do is the first or the last. And then we get, no, we can't do that. We can't do the first. We can't do the last. And then I look at Shane. I'm like, well, I guess we're not having Christmas because no one can come. And it's like Christmas Day, me and Shane heard crickets in our house. We don't get phone calls till late that afternoon. Merry Christmas. It's just like, it sucks. It sucks. And I told Shane, I said, it's so sad because I have expectations of what I want Christmas to be like, and it's never that. It happens and no matter how I prepare myself, like, Judy, okay, look, you and Shane are not first. Y'all are like fifth in line. It's whatever grandmother does and dad does and mom does and my husband's and my wife's parents. We've got to go there because you know how you have to go 45 places when you're a divorced family, because you have your grandparents on your dad's side, you have the grandparents on your mom's side, you have your spouse's parents and her grandparents. So there's like 45 places to go to. And I promise you, Shane and Judy Sneed is nowhere in the top of the equation. We're the last in line. And we have to just sit here. And it's depressing to me. And every year I say, okay, Judy, you're going to have no expectations this year. You're just going to go to a waterfall, or you're going to do something else. Like, don't get sideways, Judy. It's okay. No one wants to come to your house, but it's okay. You're going to be okay. And it's like, but I'm not. I'm not okay. Like, no, it's not okay. And so this whole Christmas was just, I thought that I was going to be okay because my daughter-in-law was being induced before Christmas. And they were coming home from the hospital Christmas Day. So I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to be okay this year. And long story short, she ended up not getting induced. So she didn't have the baby until after Christmas. And it was just like, it was just hard. And I was thinking about expectations. And I was like, why in the heck do I do this to myself? Why do I have expectations? And I was thinking about when do I get the worst depressed? I get really depressed sometimes with Shane because Shane does not meet my needs. God love him, he tries, but he can't. He can't meet my needs. Maybe it's because I'm extra. I don't know. But he doesn't. My kids don't meet my needs. And I'm like, God, Judy, you the neediest person I know. Like, what the heck? Everybody disappoints you, Judy. And I was sitting there thinking, why does everybody disappoint me? Like, why am I so disappointed? And see, this is what happens when you are a content creator and someone follows you and they get to know you. And they want to send you a Christmas gift. And I got Christmas gifts this year from people that I've never talked to on the phone. I've never text messaged. I've never private messaged. I have never, like, I have zero relationship with them. And they care enough about Peon Judy in Coleman, Alabama to send me not just one present, but in this one package, I must have got at least 10 gifts. And it was funny because I went to the front door and I was like, what did I order from Home Depot? It's like, and I said, Shane, this has my name on it. I said, did you order something from Home Depot? He went, no. I was like, what is this then? And I was expecting some tool that he forgot to order or something. And it was a present from a backup dancer that I've never had a conversation with in my life. And there were 10 gifts in there. And I was like, these people that have never met me love me more than my own family. It's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, and I looked at Shane, I said, I feel so special because it wasn't like that was the only gift I got. I got other gifts. And I was like, these people are so nice to me that have never met me in person. And people that have known me my whole entire life, they're in my family, don't even do for me like these backup dancers do. I feel so special. I feel so special. And I feel so loved from the cards that were sent to me for people that have never met me. I might have to do Scout's Honor. Thank you. Thank you. But as I sat there and I was like, why am I so needy? Like, what is this all about? What, like, why am I always disappointed? Like when it comes to a holiday or like, what is wrong with me? So I was breaking things down. That is a tool that I pull out of my pocket when I'm trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with me. What the heck is wrong with you? Judy, why are you so dang needy? Are you extra? Like, what is it? What is it? What are you wanting these people to do? And who are these people? Who are you wanting to meet these? Like, who is it in this expectation that you have that you're wanting? Like, what is this all about? And I sat there and I was like, okay, first of all, when it comes to my marriage, and I've said this before to y'all, girls in general, at a young age, we watch these Disney movies of Cinderella that was a maid and she was not treated nicely by her sisters because she was not pretty. And she was on the floor scrubbing in an ugly dress while her sisters were this beautiful dress, this ballroom dress. She was beautiful. Then all of a sudden, this prince is looking for his princess. And he goes around looking for this girl that her foot will meet fight fit this slipper, this gold, this shiny high heel. And all of a sudden, this girl that was on the floor scrubbing the floor that was ugly, the shoe fits her. And all of a sudden, she becomes this Cinderella. And she's gorgeous and she's prettier than her sisters because Prince Charming comes running in. You know what I'm saying? That's what we envision in our head, what it's like for marriage. And even though we're old enough to know better, it's still that expectation is like embedded in our brain. And you think about Snow White. Snow White was laying in this, was she laying in a coffin? She was laying in this coffin. I hope I get this story right. And then this prince came and kissed her, and Snow White woke up, and her Prince Charming was there in front of her. And it was like the happiest ever couple, and she was beautiful, and he treated her so well. And then you think about Romeo and Juliet, and Romeo is at the bottom of the castle, and Juliet is up there, and Romeo is going, Juliet, Romeo, Romeo. And it's this lovely love story, and we're grown up watching that. And then we're grown up watching this family. You know, one day we're going to have a baby. Girls are crazy. Like, we're naming our kids in high school or middle school. We're like, what are you going to name your kid? And we're sitting there writing different names that we want our kids to be. Girls are janked up. We are janked up that we're going to be June Cleaver, and we're going to have on our apron in the kitchen, and our husbands are going to go work, and we're not going to work. We're going to stay home and be a mother, and our kids are going to be so sweet and beautiful. You know, like, we're so janked up. If you're a girl, you get me. Your whole life, you've been naming your kids since before you even had, you know what I mean? Like, I bet every one of y'all right now can say, what were you going to name your children? I bet you everyone had a name picked out before they were even married. Before you can even know you can even have kids. Like, you had a name picked out. You know what my kid's name was going to be? Fancy. I was going to have a little girl, and her name was going to be Fancy. Okay? I never had that girl, and I never got to name her Fancy. Okay? I don't know where. There was this girl in high school, and her name was Fancy, and she was beautiful. And I remember she had long hair, and she was just gorgeous. And I thought the name Fancy was the coolest name ever. And I was like, that's going to be my girl's name, Fancy. Mm-hmm. Never had her. Never had a girl. I had stinking snotty-nosed boys. But it's like we grow up with these expectations of what marriage is going to be like and what our kids' names are going to be. And we never envision that our kids are going to be like train wrecks. We envision our husbands loving us like Romeo and Cinderella, and you know what I mean? Snow White and all these things. That's what we envision our marriage and our family to be like. Those are expectations that we put on a marriage and a family. And then all of a sudden, even let's go to far as you start dating someone serious. Okay? Tell me, girls, tell me you didn't do this, but you're dating someone serious, and you sit and dream of how he's going to propose to you. Don't tell me you didn't do it, because you did. I know if you're a female, you did. Don't tell me you didn't. You like envision this perfect proposal. And the ring is like gorgeous. And he surprised you. You know, you didn't even have to tell him what you wanted. It was like the perfect huge diamond that you've always dreamt of. And the engagement was like everyone knew but you. And he took you to this, I don't know, like off to this place and got on one knee and asked your dad for your hand in proposal and like his blessings. And like as a woman, you envision this perfect proposal. And then, you know, when you finally like you want to get the ring that you can show your friends, you know what I'm saying? Look what I got. You know what I mean? Like you want this big, huge, shiny ring to like show your girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? You're like, look what I got. You know what I mean? It's just like these expectations that we put on a marriage. Like, it's not like when you grow up, your mom goes, "Okay, sit down. I need to talk to you. Your husband's going to be a train wreck, okay? Your husband is not romantic. So he's not going to buy you a wedding ring. He's probably not going to take you on a honeymoon because he works 7 days a week. So when you get married, he's going to leave the next morning to go to Freeport, Florida. And you're going to be by yourself in a city that you've never been to, okay? And you're going to be in this house by yourself, not knowing anyone. And he's going to go off to Freeport, Florida and work the entire summer." My mom didn't have those talks with me, okay? I lived in a fantasy world. And I bet you, if I could read these comments, I bet you did too. I bet you were that girl that dreamt of having Romeo as your husband. And your husband is so far from Romeo, it ain't even funny. He back talks, he's ugly, he calls you names. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so I was thinking about marriage and why do I always feel let down? And it's because from a young age, I had this envision of what a marriage looked like. And it's so like it ain't even close to what I thought it was going to be. And you would think, you know, I don't have a good track record when it comes to marriage. Okay. I don't. I've been married 4 times, total train wreck, okay? Total train wreck. You would think after being married 4 times, I would catch on. I still hadn't caught on, y'all. It's like I'm a slow learner. I still expect this fairy tale marriage. And I find myself constantly disappointed because it's so far from the truth of what I thought it was going to be like. It's awful. So then I think about since my son recently had a kid, let's talk about the expectations of what it's going to be like when your kids have kids. Did y'all get disappointed? If you have boys, you're probably disappointed. I had this expectation, and I think the expectation came from what I did when I was pregnant. I think this is where I got janked up. I remember when I was pregnant, I was the happiest I'd ever been in my life when I was pregnant. I was so excited to have a family, you know, because I had the expectations of what the kid was going to be like. And, you know, I just, this perfect family. When we have this baby, my marriage is going to be a rock. Like, it's going to be awesome. Okay. So I remember surprising my mom, telling her, I was pregnant, surprising Mr. and Miss Clendenin, telling them that I was going to be pregnant. And they were very excited. Both parents were very excited. Everything was great. My mom and Chris's mom, it was the first well, my brother had a baby, but they were only a day apart. Okay. So like my mom it was like no grandmother, bam, I got 2 grandkids, like back to back. Okay. I went into labor in my sister-in-law's delivery room. Okay. So, my mom was worn out. So anyway, when it came to the sonar and we found out what we were having, okay, Mr. and Miss Clendenin were in there, and my mom, I can't remember if Larry was in there or not. I don't think Larry was in there. I think it was just my mom and Mr. and Miss Clendenin. But when I had my sonar back in the day, you had your sonar you don't know what you're having until you're like 18 weeks pregnant. Okay. It's not like it is today. You don't like today, you can get a blood test like the day after you're pregnant and they tell you what you're having. But back in the day, that it wasn't like that. And so this day was so special. My mother and father-in-law were in the room and my mom were in the room, and then my husband and me, and I was laying back and they did the sonar and they were like, well, congratulations, y'all are having a little boy. And my mom was jumping up and Mr. and Miss Clendenin were jumping up. Oh, they were so excited. And we announced that we were naming the baby after Mr. Clendenin. And so it was just like a lovely time. Okay. So now fast forward, my son is going to have a baby. So what do I expect? I expect the same thing that I did, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait for the sonar to find out, I get to go in for the sonar. And so when I found out that, well, I'll just tell you, I said, I would love to be there for the sonar. Crickets, no response. I was like, can I not be there for the sonar? Like, this sucks. Like, you don't want me there? You know what I'm saying? Because my expectations were they would do what I did, right? But, nowadays, we didn't have gender reveal parties. We didn't do all that. We didn't have pregnancy pictures and all this stuff that they do now. So, my expectations were what I did. Okay, so this is where you get sideways. So when I said, oh, I would love to be there for the sonar, and no one responded to me, what happened? I was like, oh God, I don't get to be there? Are you serious? Really? Well, then when I went into labor, my entire family was in the waiting room, right? Everybody was ripped up excited because the grandbaby's fixing to come. Everybody's in the waiting room, right? My mom was in the delivery room with Corey. I was only, back in the day, you could have one person besides your spouse in the delivery room. And of course, I'm the girl. So I'm not picking Miss Clendenin. I'm picking my mom, right? So then Miss Clendenin is getting her feelings hurt because she can't be in the delivery room. That was a whole ordeal. It was terrible. And I wanted Miss Clendenin in there, but they wouldn't allow but one person in the delivery room besides your spouse. So of course I picked my mom. Well, my expectations of having a grandbaby is we're going to be out in the delivery room, right? We're going to be not the delivery room, in the waiting room. Like, because I'm the boy, so I understand the mom is going to be in, because I'm expecting the same thing that I did. So the mom is going to be in the delivery room, and me and Shane will be outside in the waiting room. Well, nowadays, they don't do things the way we did. As a matter of fact, with Shane's second grandson, no one was allowed at the hospital, period, the whole entire time. And me and Shane were like, we don't even get to go to the hospital to see our grandkid? Like, what the? What? Mm-mm. And Shane and I had expectations of what we did. We were expecting to be in the waiting room waiting for the baby to be born. But the mom, her expectations were, the last time I had a baby, there were 400 people in here and I hated it. So this baby is not, I don't want anybody at the hospital. I just want it to be me and my spouse. We had to respect that. Were we happy? No. So then, we kind of were like, okay, like, I don't know what's about to happen with this grandbaby. Are we going to be allowed to go to the hospital? Are we not? And when I found out that we were not going to be in the waiting room waiting on the baby, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? My son is having a baby for the first time and I can't go to the hospital. Are you kidding me right now? So what did it do to me? I had the expectations, which were wrong. I had expectations that it was going to go the way I did it. And I got depressed because it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I envisioned me being in the waiting room waiting. Now, I had already envisioned, I'm like, Shane ain't going to be there. Judy, I'm preparing myself. Judy, Shane is not going to the hospital with you. Shane is going to be in the woods. So you're going to, and I was preparing myself for it. Like, you're going to have to be there with your ex-husband and all her family and all your ex-husband's family. And you're going to sit there by yourself because none of your family are going. My brother's not going to go. My mom and dad are not here. Larry's in the nursing home. You're going to sit there by yourself, Judy, like you always do. All your ex-husband's family's going to be there, and all your daughter-in-law's family's going to be there, and you're going to be sitting there by yourself. So I was expecting that. Judy, don't get sideways. Don't get sideways. Your family's not coming. Your spouse is not coming, Judy. And I was prepared for that. I was like, okay, I'm going by myself. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then when I found out, oh no, honey, you ain't going at all. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Are you literally kidding me right now? Expectations get you in trouble. They get you depressed. They get you sideways. Not every person thinks alike. And expectations get you in trouble. The expectations of what I have for Christmas, they get me depressed. The expectations of what I had it was going to go like as a grandmother got me and Shane both depressed. The expectations of what my marriage was going to look like gets me depressed. So if I know the answer, why do I keep doing it? I am so janked up. So if I have the tools and I know what causes me to be in left field, why do I do it? Do you ask yourself this? Like, if you know the answer, why do you do it? Hmm. I don't know. I wished I could tell you. I wished I had the perfect answer to go, okay, this trauma that I do to myself is going to be over this year. My New Year's resolution is to take this trauma and throw it out the door. Like, what the heck? I don't know. I do it to myself over and over and over and over again. I'm not going to have Romeo. I'm not my it's none of the things that I wish are going to happen. So what am I going to do to take care of myself? I guess this is the first thing. I don't know the answer. Okay, so like I wish I could tell you what to do, but I don't know. But the only thing that comes to my mind right now is talking about it. Like talking about it out loud. Because when I talk about it out loud, I realize how ridiculous I am. I realize how silly it is that I have these expectations of marriage or being a grandmother or Christmas or whatever. Like, I have these expectations and I am just traumatizing myself. And talking out loud about it, it does help me. Because I guarantee you, I don't know, I don't know how many people's on here. I think 30. I don't know. And I know, yeah, 31 people. So, and then a lot of people catch the replay. And I guarantee you, I'm not alone. I guarantee you, by me talking about it, you're like, ooh, that's what I do. I'm just like her. That's exactly what I do. Girl, you ain't alone. Judy, you ain't alone. I do the same thing. It's hard. It's so depressing. I feel like I feel like the school system really needs to have a mental health class, personally. Because I guarantee you, to this day, girls are doing the same thing to themselves. I guarantee you they're sitting in high school. What you gonna name your kid? You know, what kind of ring do you want when he proposes to you? Like, you have these expectations of what a marriage is. But if there was a mental health class to go, dude, let me tell you, marriage sucks. Marriage sucks, okay? It's about give and take. Like, that dude's gonna be janked up. And he ain't gonna be raised the way you were raised. Y'all gonna think Christmas is totally, he wraps presents, you don't wrap presents. Like, it is about give and take. Marriage is not Romeo and Juliet. I feel like if the school system had a mental health class to really explain like what's gonna happen, like, even like, a sex education class that says, okay, you think when you have with this boy and you think it's your husband, girl, it's not your husband. He's going to walk away and he's not going to think. His brain is different from you. So when you finally do and you think that's your husband, well, it ain't. It's not. You're in love and he is not, because boys can have boys don't have the connection that a girl has. And you're going to be janked up your whole life because of that. Don't you wish that, like, if I was a teacher in the school system and they let me really teach, maybe just like all women class, you know what I mean? Mental health for women. And I could teach high school and go, girl, marriage sucks. he ain't your Romeo. I hate to break it, because when you get married, it all changes. And then when you add a baby to the equation, it gets 10 times worse, because then you have the stress of financial bills and all the other stuff. It does not get better. It is not the white picket fence. You're never going to be June Cleaver. They probably don't even know who June Cleaver is. But don't you really wished? I wished that I would have educated my kids. I wonder what my kids' expectations are. I think I've janked my younger son up. He's like, Mom, don't you even give me a relationship advice. Mom, you've been married 4 times. Mom, you're like the last person that I'm going to listen to when it comes to relationships. I think he's like, I'll never get married. I've seen what my mom's been through. I'll never get married. I think that he thinks that. I don't know. I might be wrong. But I think he don't even think about it. He flies by the seat of his pants. All he's thinking about is getting to another state. He ain't thinking about relationships, settling down and buying a house. That's the last thing in his brain, is thinking about buying a house. Where my other son was like, I'm tired of renting. I want to buy a house, and they're total opposites. Expectations are hard. And even though I'm aware of what I'm doing, I can't stop it. It's like it's still there. Even like this relationship of what it's going to be like to be a grandmother. I have these expectations of what it's going to be like. And I'm like, you need to stop, Judy. You need to stop. And I do not know how to stop having expectations, because it's like they're implanted in my head, because I've done it for so long that it's hard to break a habit. Like, I could sit here and go, don't have expectations of Christmas, Judy. Just take care of yourself. Stay in your lane. The only person you can control is yourself. Just don't have this expectation that Santa Claus is coming and that everybody's coming to sing Christmas carols around, like stop, Judy, stop. But my brain will not stop. It's like it is wide open willy. And I have expectations, and I find myself constantly disappointed. Even though I know what happens, I have been in therapy long enough to know what happens when you have expectations. And even though I have been in therapy for 16 years with the same counselor, and I know what happens with expectations, I still do it to this day. Every time. Every single time. And I even, like, during the holidays, I do something for myself. I give back. I always give back in some way. And it still is terrible. I feel like talking about it is the best thing that helps me. It doesn't mean it cures it. Next Christmas I'm going to be depressed. It's like, even though I try to control it, it's still going to be there. So what do I need to do? If I know that I can't stop these expectations, and no matter how, don't have expectations, Judy. You know what happens. You know what happens. You know what happens. You know what happens. It's still every time. And then, like I said, if I talk about it to Shane, just stop, Judy. Just stop. Oh, dude, okay, whatever. I can't go in the shop and just stop. My brain is not programmed like yours. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's not programmed. We're all different. My brain is janked up. Congratulations that you don't fight depression, but you fight something else that you need therapy over, just to let you know. You have anger issues. That's what I say. Congratulations. You'll have anger the rest of your life because you don't go to therapy. So you're going to have high blood pressure and all this crap. So you think I'm janked up? You janked up too, buddy. Let me just here to tell you right now. You janked up. So I guess the tool that's in my pocket to deal with this is talk about it. But talk about it to someone that's not going to tell you, just stop. Just stop. That, mm-mm. I don't care if you got to go talk to your kitty cat, okay? And all he says is meow, okay? You can't talk to people that don't even understand what a tool is. If I said, dude, what tools do you have in your pocket? And they look at you like you got four horns on your head, like, tools. I got a wrench, I got a screwdriver. Like, that's not the person that you need to talk to. A person that you need to talk to maybe doesn't talk back. Maybe you just go to the creek and talk to yourself, and you have to talk out loud, because sometimes I have to just talk out loud to myself and get off to myself and go, okay, it's a creek day. I need to go talk to the rocks because they don't talk back, and they're not going to tell me something that I don't need to hear. Because sometimes when you talk to people that don't understand, that maybe they don't fight depression, maybe they still have their family, they've never been through death. I experienced death with my family at a young age. I was in my 20s, uh, when my grandfather died, and then my mother, and then my dad, and all this, like, ugh, it's depressing. And someone that hasn't walked, like, let's just talk about Larry. Larry is my stepdad. Larry lived with me for 8 years. It was a struggle for 8 years. Okay. He's autistic. It's just difficult. Okay. And I made the decision to put him in the nursing home. Well, if I talk to someone that has never been in my shoes, they've never put their parent in a nursing home. I took care of my mama I would have never put her in a nursing home. If you talk to someone that says that, you're going to have guilt. You're going to have shame. they're not going to, like, you're like, congratulations that you took care of your dad your whole life and he lived with you. I can't do it. I don't know what to tell you. I can't. I'm not strong enough. But when you talk to someone that's never walked into your shoes, they don't know how to tell you how to cope with it. But if you talk to someone that's going, I understand. My mother had dementia. I couldn't take care of her either. Let me tell you the story. For the longest time, I would get off at work and I would go to her apartment every single day to make sure, the stove wasn't on, because she had the beginning stages of dementia. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I remember the doctor saying she's going to need 24-hour care. Well, I had a full-time job, Judy. I couldn't provide 24-hour care. You know how expensive a caregiver is? I was your age, Judy. I still work too. And I remember the stress of feeling like no one understood, because all my friends, they didn't work and they were able to take care of their mom, and God bless them, but I can't do it. I still work. I have bills to pay. Like, I'm still young or whatever. Someone that's never been in your shoes, they don't understand. They think it's cruel that I had to put Larry in a nursing home, because they've never lived with Larry for 8 years. They've never walked in my shoes. They've never dealt with someone that's an adult with autism that's never been diagnosed. Someone that has dementia. They've never dealt with it. But people that have been in my shoes, that have dealt with sick parents, or, was able to not work, I mean, I'm applauding them. I wished I could have done it. I really do. I wish that I was strong enough that I could have kept him home the whole entire time. I feel a lot of guilt. And when people tell me that they did it, I have even more guilt. I cannot deal with it. But for someone that says, you know what, Judy? I remember my mom, when I would go to the nursing home, she would beg me to go home. And I remember crying every single time that I went to the nursing home, because mom used to beg me to come home. I understand. I get it. I get your pain. And sometimes, as a friend, you have to say, I've never been in your shoes before. I was blessed. My husband worked and I was able to stay home with my mom or dad their whole entire time, because I didn't have to work. So I don't really understand what you're going through, but I can only imagine how painful it is. Words, choosing the right words to say to someone that is fighting depression, I can't speak for everybody across the board, but I know for me, it helps when someone's been in my shoes before, when they've dealt with, I don't know, a kid not talking to them for a year. Like, if you are one of those parents who go, oh girl, I hadn't talked to my daughter in 15 years. I feel your pain. That's someone that understands, because they've been there. But sometimes just talking out loud to someone that doesn't talk back, like a rock, a chicken, or a dog, or a kitty cat, or a bird. You're outside sitting by the creek and you're like, dude, I wish I was a bird and just could fly away. I'm saying, I wish I could be a red bird and just be beautiful all the time. You'll start laughing. You will. All right. I've been long-winded today. I'm going to let you go. Expectations get us in trouble. But I'm going to tell you something. When I think about your choices of sitting it out or dance, it's like I would love to tell you sitting it out is having expectations. But I feel like that's kind of normal. It's normal to have expectations. It's normal to feel depressed during the holidays if you've lost loved ones or whatever. I'm not going to say sitting it out is having expectations. I'm going to say the choices you have is sitting it out and staying depressed. I don't think there's anything wrong with being depressed during the holidays or being depressed, about your marriage. I think it's normal because marriage is hard. It's about give and take. But staying depressed is not being the best version of yourself. Sitting it out is staying in depression. Dancing is talking. Even though I don't have the answer for you, because I don't know, but we can talk about it together. And talking about it and listening is part of being the best version of yourself, is going, you know what? I don't have an answer, but this is what I do. And it's janked up. I realize it. It's janked up, the things that I do and the things that I think is janked up. But it's like talking about it is letting other people know that they're not alone. But listen, together we can put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward and keep trying to be the best version of yourself, because I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Wednesday's New Year's Eve. I'll be here. I'll be here this Wednesday. So I'll see y'all Wednesday at 7:00. Love you. Bye.